Hello and welcome to Daddy Eats Last, where we discuss the challenges of being a man in modern society and whatever the hell that even means. I'm Kane, and joining me tonight with Ryan on a digital detox is Maddie. How you doing, Maddie?
I'm good, mate. I'm not too bad. Had a pretty good weekend. First off, digital detox. I assume that's just a tech-free weekend, is it?
It is. It is the same thing. So I believe him and his partner are up at Lawn, just, I'd say sunning it up, but we're in Melbourne in winter, so we had a nice day down here, but it certainly wasn't swimming weather.
Yeah, we've been lucky as well. We've had, I think, 27 and 28 over the weekend. So mum and dad were up here from Melbourne, escaping the winter blues. So they got to play with their kids, and I said to Dad, look, I'll cook you a lamb roast if you can stay around for the night and look after the kids while Kim and I go out for dinner. So
Was there mint jelly?
win-win for everyone. There wasn't mint jelly, no. He doesn't really have any for those kind of extras on the lamb.
Not a
Just straight,
not a condiment sort of man.
not a condiments kind of guy. Sauce on a hot dog and a sausage and bread, but no mint
Interesting one. I've always never sure about mint jelly. It used to be a thing in our household, and I could take it or leave it. But some people, if it was lamb, you had to have mint jelly. So it's good to see that I'm not the only one out there who are a bit sort of indifferent to, a bit of mint and aspartame to let it set. So
There are people like you.
there's something out there. The rest of the weekend was good. Well, you had 27. We had 17 down here, and people were getting around in almost shorts and a t-shirt. It's been a cold old week, and tomorrow's going to be cold again. So I think people are out making the most of it down here.
Oh, you got to, don't you? And that happens everywhere, doesn't it? As soon as the sun pokes its head out, bang, the shorts are on, the t-shirt's on, and the suntan lotion's out.
Can't really blame them. What I wanted to talk about tonight is something we talked about back in episode 16 of Daddy Eats Last, and that's sleep. We're not going to talk about sleep again as such, but an aspect of sleep, and something which came up on Friday night after I'd had a couple of wines on Friday night, and I was a little bit sniffly in my nose, and I snored a couple of times during the middle of the night, and I got a couple of the royal elbows in the ribs to kind of wake up and roll over and to stop snoring. So I was kind of thinking, there's something which is called a sleep divorce, which is basically where partners who are in a relationship sleep in separate beds. And I kind of get it. Like, sleep is a bit like running a marathon or chewing food. It's an act you do by yourself. While we physically not lie next to each other, generally when we're in a relationship, we still we sleep. I guess alone. We're not sleeping as a team. We both sleep individually. So I just kind of wondered why people sleep together when they're a couple, apart from maybe the obvious reason.
What is the obvious reason? Nah, just joking.
SEX, but yeah, outside of that, why do people even sleep together?
That is a very good question, and this is a very interesting topic. Very interesting. To answer that question, we'll have to get the answer by the end of the night, I think. But
I did do a little bit of research about this beforehand, actually, on Friday, probably Friday in the middle of the night when I was woken up with some elbows to the ribs, and I vacated premises as well. I woke up and after I got elbowed in the ribs, and I felt quite hot, and I've looked at the clock and it was like 4:30 in the morning, going, you're not going to be able to fall back to sleep now after this. And we're lucky enough that we have a secondary bed. So I went and managed to fall back asleep in there, which was good. So I did a bit of research when I was like traipsing down the hallway and had my phone out. And apparently a lot of it is sort of ingrained security. Bedmates mean a strong sense of security, given the prevalence of perils, whether they're real or imagined, things like, thieves and ghosts and witches and, maybe the Prince of Darkness himself. Historically, a lot of it's been financial, though, where couples back in the olden days even kind of lived under the same roof as your livestock, so your cows and your chickens, when we're all living on the land. So because there's no other structure to put them under, basically everyone in the entire family would pile into the same bed, and the livestock would live in the house as well. Like, this is 2019 though. Like, I don't know about you, but there's certainly very rarely cows and pigs in our household, and we are lucky enough now that you can have, well, we don't, but you can have CCTV and alarms for security purposes, and you can yell at Google to turn your light on. So there are historical reasons why people have slept together, but it's 2019. We all still sleep together, but it often means a worse night's sleep, and it did for me on Friday. Do you still sleep with your partner in the same bed?
I do. Yes, I do, and I always have. But been some instances where I haven't. The good old fight you have, or probably more commonly well, not so much now, and maybe not the same for you as well. But you do come home and you have a big night out, and rather than come home drunk and stumbling around everywhere, you just go to a separate room and sleep it off in there. And also as well, you touched on this quarantine as well. So if one of you is sick, then rather than make the other one sick by breathing on them and coughing on them all through the night, you generally go and find another space in the house. We, at the moment, and where we've been living, well, we're renovating as well, we don't have an extra bedroom, so it's really only the couch. So I'm trying to think back to when we did have a spare room, and that was probably when we only had one kid. But even then, we always sort of have slept in the same bed, whether it's not, and I don't know why, to be honest. I'm gonna.
It's due to the livestock. It's due to the cows and chickens and pigs that you guys keep. Clearly,
like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, where you've got the four grandparents in the same bed.
Exactly. Right.
I think it's just nice to be able to cuddle someone at night time. Call me old fashioned, but it's just nice to.
Are you a spooner? Do you spoon during the night? Do you cuddle during the night?
Before bed? You always start off spooning, and then
do you really? That's really nice.
Not all the time. And Kim might phone up and correct me, but sometimes, you go to bed spooning. Or I was discussing this with Kim today actually, and we don't always go to bed at the same time. She'll generally go to bed earlier, although I have been making an effort to come to bed at the same time, just so we, can get up at the same time, sort of thing, and go to bed at the same time. And it's just nice to be able to turn the light off together, say goodnight, give a kiss, and off you go to sleep.
Well, you're not going to get away without me asking you more about the spooning.
No, ask away.
Are you the spooner, or do you get spooned?
No, I am the spooner.
Okay.
Very rarely am I the spoonee. Yeah. But then, I mean, you don't wake up spooning. It's always just you wake up on the other side of the bed. And but saying that, I will counter all that back to that by saying, whenever Kim goes away on business or I'm away somewhere else, I never have a bad night's sleep when I'm sleeping by myself. Now, granted that when she does go away, because I've been accustomed to sleeping on 30 centimeters of a mattress for so long, whenever she does go away, I always just put the extra pillows on her side, and I only take up that still the same amount of room. I don't spread out like angel wings and fluff around. I've always just got that, but I have a great night's sleep, and I'm sure she does too.
Yep. So while it's nice and you both like, obviously, do you spoon the pillows when she's away?
No, I don't. No.
I actually do hug a pillow when I'm asleep, so I kind of asleep with a pillow on my other side to where my partner sleeps. But no, I completely understand the fact that it's really nice. It seems really nice, but when she's away or when you're away, you sleep arguably better. So it makes a lot of sense. And I'm getting to the point now where I find it very hard to regulate my body temperature when I'm in the bed with somebody else, which is always my wife. It's just, I get really hot. Like she'll go to bed with socks on, 2 pairs of pajamas, a doona folded over on her, and I'm there with just a sheet over the top of me, and I'll wake up still hot in the middle of the night. So I find it really hard because she's so cold and I'm so warm to kind of either of us at any point of time to have the right body heat. And that's not even taking into account, one of us getting up to go to the bathroom because we had a cup of tea too late or we had a glass of water after dinner. So it's all those little things which kind of add up to interrupted sleep sometimes.
Yeah, that's hot and cold. I love that. That's a recipe for disaster. But I can see, and I understand exactly what you're saying, and I can see why couples would do this. An example is my brother and his partner. So he gets up at 4:30 every morning. He's a personal trainer, so he trains people quite early in the day. She doesn't have to be up for quite a few hours after that. And they have always, as far as I've known them, he always slept in the spare room, purely so he gets a good night's sleep and he doesn't interrupt her when he wakes up. So, of course, happily married, and they're a great couple, but that's just one part of their life that they sort of separate, and it's to benefit both people.
Yeah, and my parents and my parents-in-law are both the same. Neither of those sleep in the same bed as the partners anymore, and they're both happily married, as far as I know. But yeah, as far as I can remember, like the last 10 years, my parents haven't slept in the same bed because my dad has problems getting to sleep. He has restless leg syndrome, which means he used to find it really difficult to fall asleep. That's since been treated in the last 2 or 3 months, and he's been a lot better at falling back to sleep. So yeah, it's something which I don't know if it's more common, but I notice it more now, and I understand the rationale why. Like if while it might not, yeah, there might be an aspect of not sleeping in the same bed, which is, you might feel like you're missing out on something. Like you say, you might not get spooned or you might not have a cuddle or whatever just before bed. You may also wake up more refreshed. So your relationship, if you're both getting better sleep, might be healthier anyway. So I can understand some of the reasons people do it, and especially in your brother's situation, getting up at 4:30. I think if I was getting up at 4:30 every morning, I would. This wouldn't even be a conversation with with my partner. She'd be like, "Oh, you're just sleeping out of bed, champ." So, yeah, I think there's certain times like scheduling conflicts. If you have different sleep environments or just habits, where it's a perfectly legitimate tool to maintain a better relationship through both of you getting better sleep.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good point you made there about waking up more refreshed. Um, I also read an article on this topic as well, and one couple said that once their kids had moved out of home, that's when they both went to the separate beds, and they basically had a separate room for each person. So the wife had the all the girly things, I guess, in
Walk-in
her room. She kept
robe.
it so tidy, walked in robe. And he had all these boys' toys, she said a telescope and some science books, but, they both kept it how they liked it. They could both, wake up refreshed, and life was great for these guys. So there's something to be said for it.
I think the interesting part is that, again, it's when the kids have moved out. I think because it would maybe potentially, I don't say awkward, it might be an unusual thing to, I guess, explain to kids, because most parents generally will sleep in the same bed. So if your parents aren't and other parents are, then you might get a question from the kids. Oh, why don't mummy and daddy sleep in the same bed? And then what do you do? Just bust out some science?
Start pulling some graphs out.
Yeah, this is my sleep graph but I track my sleep, and I track my sleep on a watch thing that I wear, a specialist watch thing, and I generally have a better sleep score when I'm not in the same bed.
Interesting. I was going to say you could do an experiment for this podcast, but you've already done it, and yeah, a better sleep. Okay.
I have data. My partner, she goes, I'm not sure how I feel about the sleep divorce thing, because I'm sleep divorcing, and she goes, I don't even know what that even means. Like, we're sleeping in separate beds.
It's a great term. Whoever coined that.
Now, sleep
Um,
divorcing, I think that she just might have bleeped out the sleep bit. I just sleep. I just want to sleep in a separate bed so we both get a better night's sleep for all these different reasons. But she's like, I don't know how I feel about this. I've gone, well, as I said before, like we all sleep solo. It's not a team sleep where like we both wake up and go, well, collectively we got 16 hours. Hip hip hooray! I might have got 7 and she might have got 9. But not to say my 7 isn't better than her 9. So while I guess everything's a collective decision when you're in a relationship, like this individual sleep's really important.
yeah, and when you break it down like that, it's there's actually a bit of a science and art to it, isn't it? I wonder if you went to bed together, you snuck out and snuck back in, or she woke up, if she'd notice.
I wonder if I could just stick like a fake cane on my side of the bed, and like when she's saying good night, I just probably wouldn't respond half the time anyway, because I fall asleep really quickly. I just wake up early. So if I just put a dummy cane on that side of the bed and snuck out into the other room every night, if I'd get away with that.
She'd be none the wiser. I love it.
But there is a lot of
Um,
moving parts to this, and like I said before, there's some really good reasons why a sleep divorce may work for a couple out there, like scheduling conflicts. If one partner is an early bird, like you're saying, Kim really likes to go to bed early, and you're a bit of more of a night owl based on what we've talked about before. Things like that, shift work, like your brother with his running his business in PT, which is traditionally an early morning thing. That's a really good reason to consider this, that it could work for people.
yeah, absolutely. I was going to ask you, what size are the beds you're sleeping on? And I asked this because just over this weekend, so as I said, Mum and Dad were up from Melbourne, and we gave them our current bed up here. So we we've had the beauty of having a king bed, but that's where the house is getting renovated. So the king bed's over there. So we've gone and bought a double bed, which we'll just throw in the house as a spare bed when we move back in. So we've gone from a king to a double. And God, that was
Jeez.
a nightmare.
Yeah.
But we've thrown mum and dad on that last night, and we've taken the sofa bed, which is a queen. Now, even though the double bed is an actual mattress, and the queen is just one of those sofa bed mattresses, which is 10 centimeters thick with a bit of eggshell on top. We both had a great sleep. And we woke up this morning and Kim's like, oh, it's got to be the size of the bed, because on the double, we're sort of, she spreads out and I'm just, on 30 centimeters. But on this queen, it felt like we had so much room and it was a great night's sleep. So what kind of size bed are you rolling with there?
Yeah, no, we're king size bed. We've just replaced the mattress to a koala mattress. We've tried it before, and I know Ryan is a big advocate of koalas as well. He's a physio, which was great when I heard that he liked them after I'd already bought one. So we're a king size bed and have been for, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 years. Before that queen size bed, which I found a bit sort of small. And people are getting bigger as well. Like, we're not the same age as our parents. I'm bigger than both my parents, and they used to have a double bed and then a queen bed. So I think people are just getting bigger. So you do need a bigger space if you're lucky enough to have a room where it will fit, and a mattress and stuff which you can fit in there.
Yeah, and there's also the mattresses now that, I think I've seen Serena Williams advertising them, but, one person can jump on the other side and the other side will not even move. So I wonder if
Yeah,
that's
the koala's really good like that. You generally don't feel the other person moving around so much. I've got nothing bad to say about it. They come and you just roll them out. This podcast is not brought to you by Koala, but if you're out there, Koala, I'd love a queen size koala mattress out there. If you want to wing one my way for the spare bedroom, so when I'm in quarantine or when I do follow through with this sleep divorce after I serve my wife with papers, I have a queen size koala there.
And I hear you get a free trial with these guys as well.
Yeah, I've not watched someone. Their ads are terrible. They're awful TV ads, but the mattresses are top notch.
Oh, at least they're spending the money in the right spot.
But I feel every time we've gone to like stay somewhere and it's a queen size bed or a double bed, or when you're in Europe it's two singles that you push together. Then yeah, I've felt the same. Like, you feel like you probably don't get as good a night's sleep because you're always bumping each other and interrupting each other during the night.
What about, does your little guy ever come up and jump into your bed, or the door handle's a little bit too high?
Oh no, I've still got a baby gate on his door, so he can't actually get out of the room. So at this stage, we're not going to take those down. Not that, touch wood, he's got out of the bed yet. He's been in the bed for about a month now, and he's not got out of bed at all. He's not tried to come out and yell at the gate. He can't get over the gate anyway. He still sleeps in a sleep sack despite being in the bed because that's what he wants to do. So far, so good. But I will be very strong with him of get back in your own bed, because
Yeah.
I don't want to be woken up at 3 o'clock every morning just because someone wants to pile in.
Yeah, it can be cute, but it can also be a bit of a nightmare on a Sunday morning when they come in and you want to pay for a sleep in. But I don't know. Look, I don't. After reading what I've read and this podcast, will we change? Probably not. No, I think we'll stay. We're so used to not getting a great night's sleep anyway from having kids, and most people who have kids will probably attest to that. You never get a great night's sleep from once you've been born. Eventually, you'll get that back again, but yeah, for the time being. Where I do have a great sleep, whenever I put Eloise to bed on her mattress, I'll always happily fall asleep in there and wake up so groggy. It's like, oh, it's awful, but so comfortable.
Do you spoon her?
Maybe she might sleep divorce me, actually. She might stop me from coming in.
Do you spoon her to sleep?
Nah, she tells me to roll over and just,
Kids.
She must get too hot. Yeah, kids they're very honest.
Yeah, they tell you exactly what they think.
Yeah.
But no, this is not something which is for everyone, and it is literally some people can sleep like a log next to anybody, and I'm not one of those people. And my partner's always needed what she terms ideal sleep conditions in inverted commas. So pretty much a pitch dark room. She wears a master bed and earplugs, yet still somehow hears my snoring, but never used to hear the kid crying. So I think it's just she's just tuned to my snoring.
I never heard the kitty crying, but can hear you.
Oh no, she did. I backtrack on that. She definitely heard the kids snoring. I'm sorry.
Just edit that bit out.
I'll edit that bit out. No. But in all honesty, like face mask, earplugs, very particular about how the doona's on her when it's doubled over, things like that, like so it doesn't slip off. Where I'm a bit sort of more laissez-faire about these things. Like I'll just kind of just jump into bed after being off the computer for 5 minutes and be out to sleep in 5 minutes. But it's more there's a window between sort of 4:30 and 6 where if I get woken up, I'm probably not going to go back to sleep. And that can mean that, if you do that 2 or 3 nights in a row because of being interrupted by somebody else in the bed, that you can be on the grumpy side of life.
Yeah. I can attest to that as well. There's nothing worse than when you're expecting to get a good solid sleep, then you get woken up early and kind of ruins your day. If you have that a couple of days in a row, can ruin a week.
Exactly.
When you say
right.
face mask, do you mean eye mask?
Eye mask. Yeah, eye mask. Not
mask,
like a
okay.
not like a was it
Not
the Bane mask from
Bane, yeah.
My dad has to do that now. He's got one of those masks for sleep apnea as well. So he has to wear like a sort of like a gimp mask or a Bane mask sort of thing over his face at the moment. And he's found that a bit of a struggle to adjust to, but I think he's getting there with it. Oh, that or he's turfed it completely.
Right, okay. And so what does that do? Does that just help him regulate breathing?
Yeah. So because sleep apnea, you basically stop breathing during the middle of the night, and that happens to a sort of fairly large, like a decent sized population of people, and it just helps you regulate your breathing through the night, so you won't sort of just stop breathing.
Geez, that's scary.
Yeah.
Another reason to sleep with someone next to you so they can.
That is a very good point, and a good place for us to end tonight. So that wraps it up for this week on Daddy Eats Last. Do remember to subscribe to Daddy Eats Last on iTunes if you haven't already. And while you're there, please leave a review. Also, tell your mates about the podcast, especially if they are guys. Most of all, thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week for another episode, another sleepover of Daddy Eats Last. How's that for a dad joke? Catch you next week.